Welcome to Saga Thursday. I am Raj, and I'm talking to Andy Lyons about the Strathclyde Welsh. This is a continuation of a discussion we had last week, and we're just going to jump right into it. Next one down, outmaneuvering. You want to hit that one?
Sure. Activation. This is one of your defensive kind of abilities. This will let you get out of dodge once you've had your attack. If you've got any men left in the unit, which when you're fighting with small units might not be so probable, but it lets you move one of your units without the restrictions of second activation within shot, etc. So you activate for a movement one of your mounted units. For this movement, your unit may move through friendly models, which is very good. And may move freely, even if within shot of its enemy at the start of your second or subsequent movement. So normally, you charge a unit in, you have your melee, one unit disengages to within shot, and then you're pinned, so you can't move away or onto another target. With this, you can move onto another target. So if you attack a warlord's bodyguard unit, push them back, you can then bounce off and into the warlord without any restriction.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty big.
Well, this is an activation that will activate any of your mounted units, so you shouldn't put a dice on your normal activations until you've got one on here. So this is your first standard activation unit.
Yes, that makes perfect sense. You can activate anybody, and then you got a little bonus here of moving. Yep. Are there any shenanigans with moving through your own guys ever, or is that just...
As long as you can get them through the distance, that's fine. You can have a screen unit and then an attack unit behind them, so nobody can shoot the attack unit, and then you pop them through the screen unit and into melee.
Juicy. I'm liking that one. Definitely fair value.
It's like the ability on the Norman board, but it costs one dice.
Okay. Looking good so far. Next one down, we have swiftness. It's a shooting reaction ability that uses a uncommon or a rare. Activate your unit for a movement. So, okay, one thing is a shooting reaction, so you're going to be able to move your unit as it's being shot. The movement may not end within short of an enemy unit. If your unit ends its movement with all of its models out of range or out of sight of all models of the shooting unit, the shooting is canceled. Wow, that's pretty cool. So a lot of shooting reactions just add some defense dice or cancel a hit or something like that. So this can basically null that entire attack.
You're mounted. It's a mounted only ability, so you got the 12-inch movement to get out of normal bow range. So
yeah,
if you can get every model out of range of the shot, then the shot is cancelled. Or you can stick them behind a building or a wood so that you can't see them. Again, the shooting's cancelled. It's a good runaway.
Yeah, it'd really have to be kind of a strange circumstance to be hemmed in enough that you wouldn't be able to get away. Or maybe some big woods or something. Units would have to be pretty tricky. But for uncommon die, just being able to cancel the shooting there, which is gonna... Shooting seems to be a weakness of the board, just being mounted and all. That's a pretty good defensive ability there. Kind of trading an uncommon dice for one of their activation dice, but with other shooting abilities that you cancel, they can just shoot again. With this one, they're going to have to, you're out of range, they'd have to move again and then shoot again if it was going to be that same unit.
So target different unit either. It says if you can move out of range of that shooting, it's cancelled. So they can't then say, well, okay, I'm gonna swing around and shoot this other unit instead. You can also use a rare dice on there, but I can't think of me ever having done that. There's too many other good things to use your
bold attack. Wild charge. I could see being the priority there.
A crazy dice roll, and you've got 6 rare dice.
It happens every once in a while, but I don't know. I don't see it a lot with these dragons. I don't know. There's the same. I've seen many players, Welsh, lament the lack of dragons that seem to come up on those dice. Do you think that extends to the Strathclyde? Just the unluckiness of not getting dragons?
Yeah. Well, you can go 3 or 4 turns without rolling one. It happens to everybody.
Damn. Damn dragon. Okay. You want to go down to harassment there?
Yeah. Now we can run away with swiftness when people want to shoot us. So we've got to have some comebacks, and this is it. This is harassment. It's an activation ability. Again, this one uses or is strengthened by the number of units you've got off the table. Okay. So it's over shooting, targeting one enemy unit within long of a table edge. For this shooting, generate two attack dice per unit that you have left off the table. Get 2 extra dice if you spend a rare dice to use this ability. The maximum dice generated is 8. So if you've got 4 units off the table, you're doing an 8 dice shooting attack.
Regardless.
Any unit within long of the table edge. So if the unit's got an intervening unit in between it, it doesn't matter. There's no line of sight for this. It's just any target within long of the table edge.
They can angle those up. Arc them in. Oh, cool.
This is a priest killer.
Yeah, just gonna say half the games with the priest, they just end up sitting back on the table edge, but now they have to use the dice to move those guys up, regardless, and then they're not really gonna be safe anyways if you're bringing on units. So it's gonna be a challenge keeping those religious advisors alive against these guys, especially with the outmaneuvering ability. Don't seem like they're gonna last long. So. Yeah, this is awesome. I love any abilities that just grant some shooting attacks in an otherwise non-shooting army. So just having something like that is nice and versatile.
The other benefit is that it can't be punished by the Jomsvikings because it's not a unit activation, so there's very little chance of avoiding this one.
And you can just use a common dice on it. Another good bang for the buck. Whatever you have left over after assigning everything, just put it on this one.
Use this in the early stages of the game when you've still got units off the table. Once you've brought a couple of units on, you're not getting so much benefit from it.
That's true. Very true. But even if you just have one unit, use a rare. It's still 4 attack die. It's still like an 8-man warrior unit shooting. Never know what you're going to get on those.
Now, pick your target.
Okay. So the last ability here we're looking at is Cornered, another activation ability here. So this whole row here seems to be activations, pretty much. Uses an uncommon die, designate a number of enemy units that does not exceed the number of units you have off table. All these units must be more than L away from any table edge. Each of these units takes 1 fatigue. So this must be what you were referenced earlier. So we have harassment and Doom Riders, I guess, which encourages the enemy to go towards the middle of the table. But if they do that and put themselves out of range of those abilities, they're going to be hit by the Cornered ability. But if they've got their unit away from long of the table edge to avoid the harassment, you're going to hit them with some fatigue. Your unit can still be within long for Doom Riders when you hit them. So they're going to have a fatigue, you're going to have Doom Riders, and they're going to be wishing that the table was a bit bigger. Okay, so number of units that does not exceed. So if you have 1 unit off, you can place this on 1 unit within. If you have 3 units, so 1 for 1. So for uncommon die,
they have the unit has to be completely outside of long. So it's not if there's one model outside of long, the whole unit needs to be outside of long. So you're not getting this on so many units. Sacred Ground is nice because when they're on the hill in the middle, they're all getting fatigued, and that's where most of the fighting takes place in Sacred Ground.
Absolutely. So even if you just get hit 1 unit, if you're hitting the right unit for uncommon die, being able to target fatigue, that is I think that's a pretty good buy. And if you can get 2 or 3, in those early turns of the game, it can be hard to shunt that off if you're the kind of warband that doesn't have those extra abilities that can get rid of fatigue.
Well, this is where War Spears plays well with Cornered, because you give them a fatigue, so you hit them, you spend the fatigue to drop their armor, and then War Spears will put their armor back up, but anything over that is 2 hits. Same as my dog back there.
Got a war dog back there. Irish Warhound.
Not quite. Same as if you're using war spears on yourself, you give them a fatigue, you put your armor up with the fatigue and your armor up with the war spears, and there's no way they're going to get double hits on you. Mm-hmm. So yeah, having some fatigue on the enemy units is always good. And there's not many boards that have ways of dishing a bit out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, 1 dice again. Again, you can see we've got another variation on the symbols. So this one is the uncommon dice. So we're not tied in knots if we don't roll a good spread of dice rolls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots of option here. You only have 2 abilities that require 2 dice. But if we're looking at all the abilities as a whole, I don't think I really see a dud or anything in the bunch. I think potentially in most games you could be using any one of these abilities. Now you do kind of have a little bit of a dice tax with the flanking maneuvers to get your guys on the board. So even though your abilities are really good, you're just going to be having to use a couple dice to get your units in play throughout the game, which might, everything looks amazing here, but you're not going to be able to do all of it every turn. You just said wild charge. You said for the perfect combo might be 5 dice, and if you use that and you didn't get any extra saga dice, well, you can't bring a unit on that turn either.
I tend to just leave 4-man units off, and then if I don't get them on, I'm not losing much in slaughtering points. So I'll have 3 4-man units as my go-to leave off the table setup.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you still have most of your bodies on, and then
yeah, I'll run 3 4-man units off the table.
Okay.
2 4-man warrior units on the table, 2 6-man and 2 8-man, and I'll go with all warriors. So 48 warriors.
Wow, yeah, that is a lot of bodies, taking up a lot of table space too on a 3x4.
Yeah, well, if you line them all up on the baseline, they'll go from end to end touching. That stops people getting the baggage off as well.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I bet you do pretty good at the baggage scenario. So there's quite a few scenarios where being able to move on guys is quite handy. So the river crossing, the sacred ground, it's always tricky getting that one on the opponent's side.
Yeah, we have another scenario over here which we play a lot, which is the pottery pillage, where there's the 2 buildings. So you pop a unit on straight into contact with the enemy's pottery, and you picked up a pot straight away just by bringing your flanking maneuver on.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, is there any scenarios that are particularly tough, I guess? I mean, I guess sacred ground, if you're using the difficult terrain, all your guys are mounted, that could be challenging.
Generally, any shooty army is a problem because we're all mounted, so we're all easier to hit. But the toughest thing to get to grips with on this board is dice management. Getting those rare dice on. If you're not getting the rare dice on, then you're not getting your wild charge, you're not getting your bold attack, you're not getting your 8 dice harassment shot. Mm-hmm. Now, but there's ways around that, and my build that I prefer, and it's taken me a while to stumble on this, is the Enlightened Priest Warlord, the guy that turns. So you can get wild charge and bold attack every turn. Yeah,
the turns that you need it, you can make it happen. And yeah, there's no particularly useful warlord type abilities on here, really. So just having him hang back. He's going to be on a horse. There's some nice abilities to get away from stuff. So yeah, it seems like a pretty good pick for that.
Yeah, with your 6 dice, if you turn a dice, then you can't re-roll anymore. So you're capped at 6 dice. But if you've got 2 dice on wild charge, 1 on war spears, 1 on bold attack, 1 on doom riders, you've got a spare dice still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you still got to mess a unit up pretty good with that.
So your 6-man warrior unit with a wild charge is 12 dice. With Doom Riders in long, that's 16 dice. Re-rolling your misses and 5s and 6 against warriors for 2 hits. You're going to make somebody cry.
Yeah. So, if you're playing against the Strathclyde, are there any tips we can offer folks?
I think
if things don't go well, how does it unravel for you?
What generally happens is I'm using all my dice in my turn, so when it's the opponent's turn, you've got a pretty empty board, which is never good. So what people need to do is get up and get in. You just got to get in as quick as you can, and these guys don't like being hit. They prefer to do the hitting.
Absolutely. So yeah, you're going to take your licks in your turn, but you need to bring it back. If you're a foot unit, that means the multiple activations. You just got to eat it to get in there and do your damage in your turn. So cool, good deal.
They are an arm that people fear when you pull the board out. They go, oh no. But then, to be fair, I tend to do that whatever anybody puts on the table.
Okay.
Why did I get that army in this scenario?
Well, this looks like an awesome faction to play. Looks like it'd be really fun.
If you can get the dice on in the right places, then you can have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, and it's going to be, it's one thing killing the guy, but as long as they can kill some of your guys in return, they're usually okay with you wiping out big. They feel like they got a little trade there versus some shooting war bands or something.
Yeah, the only melees you want to be doing with this army is the ones that you're initiating. So if you're initiating, you're doing more damage than you're taking. If you wait for them to come to you, then you're gonna be the worst. The worst one off in that exchange.
Okay, excellent. So we don't see this army a lot in the States. I don't know if it's just having a mounted army is like an extra level of hobby commitment required in order to get these guys. Are they fairly common over by you?
There are 3 people that play them occasionally. They're not. They don't tend to do good in tournaments because they're not good at all the scenarios. So we don't see them that often. I mean, I've played them. Chris Churchill, who won the first UK Grand Melee, he plays them occasionally. And I've seen one guy over in France use them, and that's all.
Okay. Yeah, definitely seen the certain scenarios are going to be really good, and then a few not so good. But then, if it's just a pitched battle, I think it's a very, very strong board if you can do what you need to do and kind of hold them off in their turn.
And as with all armies, everybody plays them differently. I use all warriors. A couple of guys use a couple of points of Hearthguard, and you play them how you get the best out of them.
Yeah, I can definitely see, particularly with bold attack, just having a Hearthguard unit there, being able to take advantage of that could be nice. More bang for your buck. But overall, yeah, great board. Thanks for chatting with me and getting everything set up. We'll definitely have to do it again for sure as we move on to Saga 2.0 here. Are you looking forward to that? Do you have secret knowledge, Andy, about what's coming? Be honest.
I've had a playtest set since May. Yes, I know what's in there.
Oh, cool! Excellent.
It's going to be a fresh breath of air. There's going to be some of the combinations and the paper, scissors, stones things that we're all got used to now. They're getting a little bit stale on some of the matchups, and this will freshen it all up. It's all positive.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping more the better. I can't imagine anything stinking about it, but I'm definitely excited, looking forward to that. So I'm sure we'll have you back after that drops, and we can chat some more. You got the rig now. You got to get some use out of it. I spent
20 quid on the camera. You got to have me back.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thanks again, Andy. It was great talking to you. Are you going to be at Adepticon for 2018? Is that in the cards?
It's marked on the calendar. Yeah, we'll be booking in November. Getting up
excellent
when the booking line opens.
Okay. Well, I will see you there for some Saga action. Can't wait to see what you bring. in the upcoming year. And good chatting, and I'll see you later, my man.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Appreciate it.
Hope you enjoyed the review. To celebrate the completion of reviewing every single Dark Age warband, Gripping Beast has generously donated a Strathclyde Welsh starter box, as well as a set of Welsh Saga dice to go along with it, to one lucky Saga Thursday viewer. There will be a special giveaway video next week that will have the details on how you can win this awesome prize. You can see from the view that this is a pretty awesome warband to play, and getting that many mounted models could be a hurdle, so getting the starter box would be a great way to get started. Thanks to Gripping Beast for making this possible, supporting the channel, and I'll see you guys next week. Saga!